Hello, and welcome to this week's energy forecast. So, the theme that I'm picking up on this week is about transformation. And in order to allow the transformation that you've been working towards in whatever area in your life that you've been changing and developing in, know that there are always rough seas when we are conquering new territories. If you think about like any Disney movie, I remember as a kid I always hated those parts of the Disney movies where it was like the issue, they had to sail across the sea, or they had to face a monster, or whatever kind of scenario that they had to face to conquer in order to get to the character's full transformation. I always hated that part. It caused me a lot of stress. And for this week, we're being asked to do the thing that we know is hard to do, but we know is necessary for our transformation. And it's funny, I just notice on my refrigerator over there, you can probably see a little bit of a butterfly, and that is the symbol of transformation. Butterfly, first you start as the caterpillar going through this process. I don't believe that a caterpillar knows, this is inevitable. I have to go through this transformation process. So I'm going to go to the cocoon and, hide out for as long as I need to turn into this butterfly. I don't, right? It just does it. It's like it must happen for the next stage of this caterpillar's development to go into the cocoon phase and then morph into the butterfly. So I do feel like we, especially on the East Coast, we go into this hibernation time. So if you're on the East Coast right now, you're probably feeling pretty introverted, maybe even a little itch towards spring because we've had a good amount of time to hibernate because of COVID. And then if you're in the warmer climate, perhaps you are feeling a little bit overwhelmed with the environment and other people and still kind of feeling this need to turn inward. So wherever you're located, know that cocooning, that desire to be kind of wrapped up and in a safe environment is very normal while a transformation is taking place. I'm talking a little bit fast because this information came in right before I even started. So I was like, I gotta press play now. The dishwasher was going, so many other things were going on. And I was like, okay. And I have a client in an hour. So it's like, whew, here we go. With the transformation, there's always gonna be, like I said, those Disney movies, that rough point. There's gonna be that rough point where you have to do the hard thing and have courage. And a lion was showing up before I began this. And lion always, again, kind of Disney movie-esque, always stood for the symbol of courage. The lioness, perhaps you're a female or embody more feminine-like energy, very protective. Also, I think the females are like the really good hunters in the Lion Kingdom. Obviously, the male is really protective and what have you. So facing this week with whatever it is that's on your plate, whatever transformation you're going through this week, you are going to need courage. And courage does not mean you have fear, or rather you don't have fear. It's you have to do something despite there being fear. And I'm going to share a little personal story. I wasn't sure when this was going to come up, but in October, someone I deeply care about, she's a little girl, a young lady really, and Brad and I had just got this dog and a couple months prior, and my niece was sleeping over, and there was an accident with the dog and he attacked her pretty badly. Thank God she's okay. A very resilient spirit, and Brad and I handled it to the best of our ability, with it being a pretty traumatic event for both of us to witness. So that happened in October. I'm like, because it's taken a toll, really. Amazing the depths to which, you think and then you have no idea, It was, since quarantine started, my business has been booming. I had a wonderful summer, feeling really good about my body and my path. Got this dog, what a surprise. My niece is over. Oh, my sweet loves, like this is their bonding. And then boom, all of a sudden, things change. And I imagine that's kind of what a caterpillar goes through. This like, I'm eating, this is so good. And then all of a sudden it's like, what? I have to go into this like swaddled place and kind of turn into mush? Like, what the heck is this about? And that's kind of what happened, It was like, in a flash, everything that I thought was no longer. Everything changed from that moment of that accident. And so fast forward 4 months to this past weekend, and I had promised her to redo that birthday weekend that we were celebrating when this accident happened. So it was this weekend that she came to visit, and about 2 weeks leading up to it, I was feeling pretty anxious. I think I even mentioned how like I tidied my whole house in previous energy forecast, and I was just very irritable, but I didn't know exactly why. It was like, oh, I got a lot going on. We kind of blah, 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 just move through life sometimes, not pausing. I know I mentioned that last energy forecast, pausing to be aware of like, what's really going on here, Laura? Why are you in this heightened state, being super critical of yourself and your fiance and your body? Like, everything kind of feels like shit right now. So anyways, this weekend came and went, and it was wonderful, accident free. And came home from dropping her off on Sunday night and was just kind of talking about it with Brad, how wonderful it was to have her here and all of that. And then I had a yoga class and I bawled my eyes out. Like, it was like I had this sense of relief that, okay, so I can take care of somebody that I love, and something bad doesn't always happen. This is a pattern in my life. Maybe that story's for another time, about my childhood. But people that I love getting hurt and me feeling like it's my fault. Me blaming myself, me feeling guilty about it, so on and so forth. So I'm in that yoga class last night and I'm bawling my eyes off. Like, just like, you can probably tell right now, like, pretty puffy. I cried and cried and cried and cried and cried. Realized like I had been, the past 2 weeks, I've been just trying to control the environment, quite literally, like making it as tidy. Every little crumb was picked up, and it was like I wanted to create the perfect environment so when she came, it was as controlled as possible in terms of like me not having to worry about anything other than her. And I realize now, looking back, that I was, with that dog situation, was like, well, if I had just been there soon, if I was 2 inches closer, because I was feet away from her when it happened, and if I had just responded more quickly, okay, so I kind of created the environment here so I could be as responsive as possible, because clearly still blaming myself for that situation. And yeah, just like crying so hard, like it just, like, the terror that I still feel from that incident happening, it just incredible how much emotion is there. Like, it's not that I, for the past 4 months, have just been like, oh, we're cool. It's like, it's been 4 months of constant inner work and getting support from many different people. many, and working on myself, doing Reiki on myself, doing, helping other people helps me too. The work I do on clients, it works through my hands. So it's like it comes through me and onto them. So it's kind of caught me off guard that it was this emotional. Like I knew it was going to be hard, like I said, but like to this extent, it was like, wow, that was necessary, right? Like facing the dragon, making it through the storm. And it was like her visiting. It's not that I was like wanting to get it over with, but it was like, I know this is, it happened in my house. It happened right around the corner. So it's like, it was like exposure therapy. She came in, she's dancing around. She's just like normal as can be. And I'm like, and then I was like, you know what? I'm going to follow her cue. She's not, she's really good. And so when she left, it was like I had the space to really let out how I was feeling about her being back here. Anyway, last night I was just so emotional and really upset with myself that for the past 2 weeks, I have felt this negative emotion and had really couldn't place it, really didn't give myself the space to say, hey, she's coming to visit. Perhaps you're a little bit anxious about that. No, instead I just got busy doing things physically when really I needed to be that caterpillar, right? Bundled up, waiting for this transformation to unfold and just eating until it comes and goes. So I guess this is just so anyways, that happened last night. I wake up this morning and like I went like this to my head and I had like this little flake and I was like, what is this? And it's like this stress psoriasis. Like that's how stressed out I was. That it's manifested in a form in my head. Like I was overthinking so much. I believe every physical issue has an emotional root. I work with many ill people, and it's amazing when you really sort through the sickness and get down to the root of it. It's some sort of emotional pain. So this stress, like literally coming out of my body because I wasn't willing to sit with it and process it, maybe because I didn't have the capacity or, whatever the reason is, even me kind of like toiling about this right now. I was so mad at myself that I wasted, air quotes, 2 weeks of my life being upset about this thing that if it was you, I would, of course you were upset. Of course you were kind of manically cleaning your house and trying to control the environment. Of course you were really, what strict towards yourself and what have you. Of course. You're still feeling the trauma from that event. In her first visit to your house, that makes perfect sense that sledding feels too dangerous, that you want to hold her hand walking down the stairs because God forbid she hurts herself again. And it's like, I would tell you that's so understandable, but when it comes to me, it's like, Laura, how did you not notice? How did you take this out on other people yourself? Like how did you spend 2 weeks doing that and not putting together that there was a massive transformation coming? I don't know. But here I am sharing my story with you, so maybe I can help you on some level move through your transformation. So I did yoga last night, and it's called Svarupa Yoga, and it's incredibly, it's spiritual practice. It's coming into your body, being really aware. It's a very gentle, slow moving thing, and it was just profound. And it allowed me to release a lot of this emotion, which I didn't realize I had stored up because I had COVID in November, so I hadn't been to this class since November. So taking the time to get back in my body, truly, it's an hour and a half class, and I lay on my back for a good majority of it. It's that slow and what have you, but just taking that time to turn inward and not be concerned about the right pose or lifting enough or anything like that. What's my heart rate? It was just I'm going to be as aware of my physical form as I can be, giving my mind a break. So I do invite you to spend some time connecting with your physical body. And it doesn't have to be, something as gentle as that, but spend some time with this form, because it is the beautiful vessel that carries your soul, and it does need tending to. And our mind is so smart, it can trick you into thinking this is how you feel emotionally, this is why you're doing what you're doing, and it's like, no. This is a trauma that's being triggered right now with her coming back to your house, because the last time she was at my house, last time she was on my staircase, it was a much different scenario, rushing to the hospital. When I say that, it's like, no shit, this was hard. No shit, you have stress, or I don't even know what it's called, but it's like, yeah, anyways, and no wonder your body was negatively reacting, and you were volatile and upset and just, tense, tight. No wonder. And now that I feel like I'm partially, I may be fully on the other side of it in terms of like this phase of my process, this phase of my transformation, I'm going, how did I not realize? How did I not know? And it's like, you don't know what you don't know until you know, right? So whatever phase of transformation you're in, whatever area of your life you know is being transformed, like last week I talked about boredom and some overwhelm, like you're in a shift. We can't rush it, we can't change it. So practicing things like getting into your body, grounding your energy, taking an hour to quite literally just lay on the floor without any distraction. The transformation takes courage. So if you feel like you don't have it in you, then get the support you need. Book a session, do some therapy, do what you need to help support you through this transformation. It's not meant to be easy. It's meant to challenge you and to be courageous, like having her here, and she would like mention the dog's name, and like, I don't say that. It just, the malevolence of that scenario just can't. So, I don't know where I was going with that. Like, that's how like terribly uncomfortable it is for me. I got to adjust my seat. I lose my train of thought. It's life, man, what the fuck? Okay. So I'm going to check in with the root chakra for whatever reason, this sense of feeling safe and secure in our body. It's not for whatever reason. Feeling safe and secure in our body allows us to branch out and be courageous, because we know the center here is safe. You are safe inside yourself. So let's check in with the root. So this is the base of your tailbone. Yes, and unfortunately, our mind says, I want to see the big picture. I want to know exactly how this unfolds. What happens next? Where the soul part of us, the physical body too, I'm sorry, I just gotta adjust. We can't know what's next. We can't see the full picture. But instead of asking yourself, what can I do to make myself not agitated? What can I do to make myself less tired? It's asking, why am I agitated? Right? Why am I tired? Well, And I've said this before, that why is a really hard question, but if I had asked myself, why are you obsessively tidying and cleaning? Which I do think I asked myself, and I just lied and said because it makes me feel good, which it does make me feel good, but it's also just the way I control things in my own mind. And there is something to having a clear space that makes you feel calmer, or makes me feel calmer, but yeah, like, why are you agitated? Why are you nitpicking your body? Why? It's just like, not necessarily you have to get to the bottom of it, but like, why do you think? Why do you think? And just being curious towards yourself. In regards to transformation, like, oh, why do I have to go through this? The amount of times I asked why with that accident, I mean, she was at the hospital, we came back because she was getting surgery, and we needed to clean up the house, or Brad really did it, and let the dog out, and I was just sitting on the steps because he came in to clean because I was obviously beside myself, and I was sitting on my steps looking up to the sky, asking my angels, especially my mom, why didn't you, why like, just no question, just why. And to ask myself in that moment, you know, why do you think, Laura? It's like, I made the wrong choice. I fucked something up. I don't know why. So with that question of why, be gentle with yourself, I would suggest, because why can be that endless, that rabbit hole that just keeps going and going and going and going. So you're not going to see the full picture. So you have to trust in something bigger than physical evidence of how things are going to work out for you. You know, in that accident, I had to trust that the doctors were going to do what they could do to take care of her. I had to trust that that little girl is extremely resilient, that she's going to pull through this, and she's going to survive and have a story to tell and inspire other people because of it, myself included. I mean, that changed my life, truly. Brad and my fiance and I, it just changed who we are at our core. So again, every time I bring this up, my mind just kind of goes blank. Yeah, that full picture, you know, that's it. I had to trust that this was unfolding, and I made the best decisions that I could from when that happened. And going forward, I'm going to continue to try to be as honest with myself as I can about the decisions I make, about how I feel about things. And to trust that there is some greater plan unfolding that I cannot see. I don't know who, I can't think of who said it, but I don't sit in God's seat. If you don't believe in God, I don't sit in the high seat. I don't sit in, you know, Mother Nature's, the grand selector. I'm not her. I am one small component to a greater unfolding. So if you can't see the big picture of your life, or what you're currently transforming through, and why is it so hard with him and I? Why did I have to keep freaking facing this? Why? I don't. And it's like, okay, maybe why is too hard of a question, but I'm not supposed to see the big picture, because there's other steps here that I can be taking to help this transformation along. And maybe that just means crying. Maybe that needs, you know, 2 days off. Maybe you need a walk and a coffee with a friend. Whatever it is you need, tending to yourself. And if I don't do anything here, I hope I inspire you to be honest with yourself. I believe honesty and kindness is one of the highest things a human can have as a trait. And I realized with doing videos, because my energy forecast was used to be just for my email list, so someone who's booked a session with me. And if you've joined me in session, you know it's like we click, you know? Like, I am able to tap into your energy. It's like, hey, what's up? Okay, so this is what I'm sensing, and this is what and I see you, and this is how I see you as, and remember who you are. And it's like, we just get in it. It's super personal, super quick. And just like I share this personal story, I'm an open book with my clients. I will tell you the truth. If you ask me something, if I'm sharing a personal story, I will tell you the dark side of me and the bright side of me, because I am both, and as are you. And I want to invite you to welcome in those darker parts of yourself, because it's not about just positivity. That's shit, you know, that's just not a thing. So I think by me showing my humanness, I hope to invite you to be more human and give yourself some forgiveness for not always knowing. And so with, you know, the only people receiving my energy forecast being my email list, who are people I've connected with for at least an hour of my and their life, that felt really close to me, really personal. Whereas this platform was a little bit more open, a little bit, anyone could have access to this, my life, my channeling, my truth, my story, who I am. And I realized my apprehension about, you know, getting on video and doing these things, this transformation I'm going through here, you know, I was telling me, it's the video. And it's true. I don't like video. I don't like having to pick a shirt to wear. I don't like having to do my hair. I don't like, it's just not what I feel like doing. I want to be in person having session, but COVID. So anyways, but it's like, no, it's the exposure. It's being seen. That is truly the root of what makes this so uncomfortable for me. To be seen, to be open to judgment. But you know what I realized today before I did this? I don't give a damn. Really, the people that can hurt me are people that hurt people that I love. You know, we all have a soft spot. It's people that I love. That is, and you know, judgment, you know, negative feedback. If, you know, my dad called me and was like, Laura, that video sucked. Why are you doing this? How are you making a living doing this? Because you suck. Or, you know, one of my sisters or my brothers was like, yeah, you're like not meant to be doing that. Why? You know, that would really hurt me. But a stranger on the internet telling me that I'm the most hideous thing he's ever seen, like, I really don't care. So I want to encourage you to be honest. Maybe you're on a platform like this, maybe you're not, but being yourself, you can't take that for granted, you know? You are a unique individual. You are one being. And yes, I believe we're all connected through this one source, which is our soul. I do believe we are all connected, but the physical vessel, the personality, that is unique to you. So rock it. In a transformation, you're messy and, you know, all over the place. Like me, I had cry eyes all day today, and I had sessions, and I'm like, and it's like, you know what, this is where I'm at. I also, on Instagram today, I saw somebody post a, like that cartoon filter where it makes your eyes really big and like cut your face down and like big lips, and I forget what it's called, but I was like, I showed Brad, and I was like, look at me, this is, and he's like, what is that? And I was like, you know, a filter, and he's not on Instagram. And I was saying, like, I feel like this filter life, yes, it feels good, right? My ego's like, hey girl, you look good like that. And then my real self, when I take it off, I go, oh, but this is who I am. And it's like, you are one individual, Laura. You are the only Laura Fleming with this physical body, with this eye, with this mind, with it, like everything that you are, there is one of you. You are made the exact way that you are, and you think putting a filter on somehow like adds to your value? You think someone's criticism of you diminishes your value? You know, it's so easy for me to look at my nieces and my nephews and say, you are perfection. You're so adorable. I love your spirit. I love your personality, your individuality. You're so different. With the siblings, they're all so different, and I love it. And I love them. I love her scars. I love his discoloration. I love all of it. It's absolutely stunning. I have a wonderful woman in my life who is double amputee. Just adore her. Because it isn't what's here. Yes, this is the physical form that carries this soul. So tending to it on that physical level. And if you like makeup and, like I like putting makeup on for this because it makes me feel better. I'm not going to say it doesn't. But to depend our worth on that, and I don't know how I got going on this, but it's about just, it isn't about if you have legs or not. It isn't about if you have scars from a fucking dog biting you. It doesn't matter. You are a unique one, just one you. And so your transformation is messy this week. It takes a lot of courage to speak up about what you need and how you feel and what's on your heart. But there is just one you. And if there's people in your life that don't love you, that can't respect your boundaries, I know it's hard, but that doesn't mean you're not worthy. That's not what that means. We all got our own bag of stuff to deal with. How anyone treats you has nothing to do with you. It's their own stuff. Like the past 2 weeks, me being cranky and agitated and annoyed and just about everything, that had absolutely nothing to do with my niece. It had absolutely nothing to do with my fiance or anyone in my life. It didn't have anything to do with them. It was me. It was a war within myself, a conflict between my mind and my heart and my soul that I could not balance out. And I learned so much through that process. Yes, the transformation was pretty ugly and painful, and I suffered last night into this morning with the heavy emotion and the headache and the psoriasis coming through and that level of stress in my body. Yes, and I've learned so much. So wherever you are in your path, please do not give up on yourself. And please do not take what your mom thinks or your dad thinks or anyone thinks of you as truth. In a session earlier today, I was talking about remembering who you are. Remember what's at your foundation. You are kind, and I'm speaking specifically about this person. I was like, you are kind, you are compassionate, you're a little bit spicy, you're all these wonderful things. Remember who you are. So when you're faced with life's waves, right? Life's monsters, life's chaos, and you're taking it like, I did something wrong, I'm bad, I am unworthy. It's like, wait, hold on here. Remember who you are. Like after that accident with the dog and my niece, I was like, I feel like a terrible human being that made really poor choices and is irresponsible, and I don't deserve to have that kind of human in my life. It's suffering, yep. It was like, it's incredible the damage we can do to ourselves. It's not funny. I just sometimes laugh when I'm uncomfortable. Okay, so I'm gonna just check in with the physical body one more time. Yes. Okay, and just wrapping up your energy from your toes up to your head. So again, no, we cannot see the big picture, but when in doubt, trust that there is more unfolding here that you can't quite see with your physical eyes. Thank you for listening. If you made it this far, I appreciate you very much for supporting me in this. If you need further support, you can always book a session, reachyourhappy.com. There's a book it button there. I'm on social media, Instagram, Facebook, mostly Instagram at reachyourhappy. And I wish you the best of luck. Not necessarily luck, you don't really need luck for this transformation, but I wish you honesty and kindness and compassion towards yourself this week as you undergo whatever transformation you are moving through. Take good care. I love you. I appreciate you. And I will see you next week.